What's up, everybody? I'm Marcus.
I'm Ryan.
And together,
we are the Northwest Sports Fanatics.
We are here with our NFL Super Bowl preview. And we got a special guest, man. We found him. He got off the milk carton. He been out there working hard, putting in work. Two-time All-Big Sky wide receiver from Montana State. Also with the Oakland Raiders. Personal trainer for Leading Edge Advantage. Mr. Richard Gatewood, a.k.a. Ricky Gatewood, a.k.a. Sticky Hands, a.k.a. my mans and them. What's up, Rick?
What's up, man? I like the third one, man. Sticky Hands. I like that part. How you doing, man? And Mr. Ryan.
Good to have you back on, man. So what's been going on, man? How you was doing the coaching thing? How that's looking right now?
Coaching thing. Well, I'm going to a rival school. I was over at Morris Coast College, my first year coaching wide receivers there. Written off from the training, with the NFL guys, college guys, and that sort. So we went over to a rival, man. Actually, the local school is Golden West, and the head coach been there for about 8 years. I didn't know it, so shook his hand the last game of the year when ACL was off, and we went from there. So we had numerous meetings. I'm going to help with the recruiting, actually a recruiting coordinator, and assistant speed training. A lot of hours going with the coaches, so I'm trying to get back as best I can, man. But that's what's been going on, man. Staying busy.
That's what's up, man.
So, what about the combine? You got anybody that you're training now for the combine that we're getting up here pretty soon?
Okay, the combine training, we got Paul Richardson. Of course, y'all know I've been working with him since his college days, Colorado. He had a big season. He was actually first team all Pac-12. That's over names of D.F.D. Thomas, the Marquise Reed. That's over them type of names. So I've been working with him daily, a wide receiver. Brandon Wimberly, he's one of the all-time leaders at Nevada. Dorito, so I'm probably a receiver there. I've been working with them two primarily, doing one-on-one and doing receiver-specific work, but we got a lot of big names in the Stars program, pre-draft anyways. We had a couple that played in the Deer Bowl. We got Keith McGill, quarterback, street quarterback, good draft, raised on third round out of Utah. We have another kid, quarterback, Devin Lawson, Utah State. He actually went to rival schools. Both of them played in the Senior Bowl. We got a couple that played in the Shrine Bowl. Devin played his home. He played the Shrine game, East West, and he played the Senior Bowl. And we got another kid, Alan Darby, out of Arizona State. So he played in the Shrine game as well. So you got a lot of kids in the second year in the second class this year.
That's what's up, man. So you've been working, man. I know. I heard you mention Mr. Paul Richardson. Ever since you first spoke of him, we kind of had a close eye on him throughout the year. So he had a pretty good year. Now, what do you think he's gonna run in the 40, and what round do you see him being selected in?
Actually, I'm kind of biased with this kid, right? Because I've been with him since the college years. Now, let y'all know before he had the breakout year, made first team all Pac-12, that he was going to be a big power coming up before the year even started. But I got him, man. He's fast, man. Without kicking, he's running 4.3s, hands-on, low 4.4s, electronic. So I'm thinking he's going to surprise and turn some heads at the combine, get into the 4.3s, and then he got a second round grade on a lot of draft boards right now, man. Hopefully we can get him into the late first round, early second round, get that first round money, man. So that's what I'm predicting where he's going to go. So it's a big class of receivers, one of the best big stands coming out in years. Mm-hmm. So a lot of other class, man, not too many seniors, so all other classes, I think he's right up there, man.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance with him being drafted, obviously, with Marquise Lee and Brandon Cooks. I saw Richardson play quite a bit, and don't be surprised if he gets picked, maybe even higher than some of those other guys, in the Pac-12. Definitely solid.
Hey, we need somebody opposite of Garcon, man. So you...
Actually, hey, let's say that the Garcon thing, he got the same age as his kid, Garcon.
There it is. There it is. So you know your Niners had a great year this year. You know, hats off to them. What are some of your thoughts on that final game of the season against the Seahawks there? Hey man, I wish I was in that position, man. I got a couple years from now to go.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah, you got some long years to wait for that. 3 or 4 at least. Anyway, speaking on it though, man, to give you my thoughts on it, I mean, that's what you get when you start the best quarterback in the league, man. That's what you get. And I was going to put in my transfer papers after 30 years at Niners, but Colin even doing some things like that, doing it that way. I don't know who, they don't make that decision, but the little comment after the game and what she said, you think that one-on-one matchup anytime disturbed me very much. So, you know, that's my thoughts on it, man. No one's the best quarterback in the league. That was the last thing with a Super Bowl on the line. You don't want to try one of the most elite corners, the best position, and try to hit a game. That's just too much, that's overconfident. That's a little bit past stupidity here. So, that's my thoughts on that, man. They get it. I wouldn't have no other way of losing the game because of my personal connection to Richard. I wouldn't have no other way of the Niners losing the game. It's not obvious on the present moment right now, but, you know, Richard made a play. He put himself on a platform. He said the things he was going to say after the game. He said them. He was going to get polished by it, but he did those things, and I'm proud of him, man.
Hey man, Richard Sherman is probably one of the most intelligent players in the NFL right now. You recently sent me a link on the story about him. How he's gonna make up to $5 million before the Super Bowl.
Cheddar.
Wow. Yeah. So speaking of that, the Super Bowl coming up.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. So we just want to go over our things that each team must do, Denver and Seattle, to hoist that Lombardi at the end of the day.
Right.
So I'll kick it off, starting with Denver. For me, it all starts with Peyton Manning, getting them into the right plays and protections at the line. I think Sean Moreno needs to get maybe 75 to 90 yards rushing, which is going to be tough against that defense there.
Right.
Wes Welker and Decker, they have to win their matchups against Thurman and Maxwell if they're going to single Sherman on Demaryius Thomas.
Right.
So they're going to need games for them. And the key for me for Peyton is 3 sacks or less for him, and no less than 1 interception. That is going to be key of not turning the ball over against that great defense. And what you think, Rick? What are some of the things Denver must do on offense to get that victory there?
Well, Denver has to control the tempo. They got to keep it, very up tempo like they have all year. Get the ball to Sean Marino, of course, and let him run a little bit so he won't dictate all the calls on the pattern of play. One thing they should do is try to attack the spot position. Stay away from Richard Sherman. I'm not saying that in a biased sense or saying it in a way to put him so above everything else or above the game, but be smart about it because this is the Super Bowl. So attack the spots Wes Welker's going
All right, and defensively for me, for Denver, I say it's simple. For one, of course, you got to stop beast mode.
Right.
You got to stop the run, which is going to be real hard to do. A key thing that the 49ers was able to do, and I thought that was good, was that they contained Russell Wilson.
Right.
They didn't let him get outside the pocket besides the one play to Baldwin when he threw it way down the field. Other than that, they contained him pretty well. And Denver is going to have to find some way to win the turnover battle. Anything defensively, Rick, you think Denver must do well to get that victory?
Yes, Denver, let's stop the Skittles from pouring down. Our sons, Lynch. They must stop that. I think they'll be all right out there on the perimeter, you know, with the receivers and everything, containing them guys. Of course, they're going to have to contain Percy Harvin if he stays healthy. You know, I have to throw that question mark in there. But the key factor, man, the key factor is containing Mr. Skittles himself, man. Don't let it rain on him. But that's the main thing, man. He's the biggest asset. He's not talked about a lot now, but hopefully everybody will start, you know, looking at him. That is the whole part of the offense. Everybody, Russell Wilson this, Russell Wilson that. I'm not seeing it, you know, and I can get my honest opinion on it. I don't think he's that great. I think Marshawn Lynch is the offense for Seattle, and everybody's not that.
All right. So what about you, Orion? Let's shift our focus over to the Seattle Seahawks.
All right, the Seahawks. For me, I want to go a little bit deeper. You know, everyone likes to talk about quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, but to me, obviously, number one, you got to adjust to the environment. Mm-hmm. You got 0 players that have ever been to a Super Bowl from Seattle. Last time that we saw something like that was the early Buffalo Bills team, and we know how that went. They didn't win that game. But to me, the real key is going to be O-line play. Obviously, winning each individual matchup, especially Max Unger at center, and I think special teams can be huge. You got Doug Baldwin going to be playing, probably more than likely, getting some kicks and some punts, so that's going to be huge for field position. But obviously, Marshawn Lynch, he's going to have to run hard, 20 to 30 carries. I'm thinking somewhere between 90 and 140 yards. They're going to need at least 2 TDs, in my opinion, for them to win the Super Bowl, because one's not going to cut it unless you're going to get one rushing from Russell, and I'm not sure if he'll be able to do that. Russell Wilson, obviously, 16 for 25, 215 yards, 1 TD, 0 picks against the Niners. But if you throw that stat line up against Denver, it's not going to be good enough to win. You're going to need a little bit more production there, maybe a few more yards rushing. Okay. Obviously no picks. You can't have that in the Super Bowl. And obviously, besides Doug Baldwin, which I like, Jermaine Curse, Golden Tate, Zach Miller. You do have some weapons there that can make plays at certain times. I think they're going to need about 15 catches combined, at least minimum. And I think they're going to need at least 2 scores from the receiving core, whether that be from the tight end and the receiving core. And I think one key also stat is Hauschka. He needs to outplay Matt Prater. So it doesn't necessarily mean he needs to make more field goals, because if you have more field goals and touchdowns, you lose. But every attempt that Hauschka has to make. 2 for 2, 3 for 3, whatever that is. I know Prater has a little illness right now, so they need to take full advantage. What about you? What do you think, Rick? What do you think about Seattle Seahawks offense? Do you think that they have enough to really make it and to really hold that trophy at the end of the day?
That's it. I'll put my main emphasis on Mr. Skittles, man. In the kicker, like you said, I totally agree, man. He's going to have to be on point in the game. And I just think it's all on Marshawn, man.
Right.
To tell you the truth, if Denver stops Marshawn and continue this run game and it takes the beat out of the mold and takes the Skittles out of his mouth and everything, there's going to be trouble for Seattle, man. I just don't think their passing game is efficient. I think that even though the secondary in Denver is not statistically good, I think that they're better than, what people think and what people expect. And Chad Bailey guarding the inside spot guy, Pro Marty out there, and even got a stars product, Mr. Duke. Denver at the safety position. So, man, I just don't think I see a defense carrying you guys, man.
Right.
Everybody else.
Right, and I think the key stat, too, people don't realize, too, obviously, you're not in Seattle, you're not in Denver, you're on neutral ground, right? So who's going to play better in a neutral field? But the key to me also is third down play. Who's going to win third down? And if you win third down, you win the game. And I'm not sure if Russell has it in him to outplay Peyton Manning on third down, but if they do win the Super Bowl, I guarantee you that stat line is going to be better on third down for Seattle than Denver if they do win. And watch out for Cliff Averill. Michael Bennett, the pass rushers. I'm thinking you're going to need at least 3 sacks, maybe 2 or 3 forced fumbles to really get him good field position. And obviously the Legion of Boom, Rick's boy, Richard Sherman. I'm the best in the world. Don't come at me if you're not me. So, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, you're going to have that Legion of Boom come out and play well. They don't necessarily, I think, need to get an interception to win, but they're going to have to obviously play a lot of 3 and outs, make it tough on, obviously, Peyton, have him sit on the sideline, and obviously have Seattle grind the clock out. Because if Seattle can grind the clock out with Marshawn, that gives them a better chance to win.
All right, so let's go to our predictions. I'll kick it off. I'm going Denver Broncos. I mean, it's Peyton Manning. It's his time. I think this solidifies him as he already been one of the greats, but this second Super Bowl ring really solidified him as one of the all-time greatest players. Now, I look for maybe 31-27 Denver win. What about you, Rick? All right. What about you, Orion?
Oh man, this is pretty tough, But if I have to go with my instincts, I've been right probably the last 14 or 15 years in the Super Bowl. I'm going to have to go Denver Broncos. I think they're a better team on a neutral field. If Peyton wins, he's going to be the only quarterback to win a Super Bowl on 2 different teams. Most MVPs, especially if he wins the MVP this year, that'll be 5 MVPs individually, 2 Super Bowls, 2 different teams. Who does it mean more to? At this point, Seattle can get there again in the next 3 or 4 years. Denver might have one more year after this year that they can get there. And obviously, I think that they're going to be able to squeak it out. It will be lower scoring than you think. I think that the defenses will play pretty well. And if I had to make a prediction, I would probably go somewhere around, I would probably say somewhere 27-20. I think a couple field goals from each kicker, but I think when it comes down to it, Peyton will be able to lead them on that drive and obviously help them get that victory.
Hey, there you have it, man. Northwest Sports Fanatics Super Bowl preview. Of course, I want to thank my brother, Mr. Richard Gatewood. Any shout-outs you want to go real quick, Rick?
I'm going to shout out the Northwest Sports Fanatics, man. Thanks for having me that call, man. Hopefully we can continue this on. I'll give my shout-out, my regular shout-out, sponsors and all that. That'll let us know that I appreciate y'all, man. Glad to get back on the show. Good to hear from you guys, man. And hopefully I hear from you guys pretty soon. All right.
You always welcome on the show. Northwest Sports Fanatics will be back at you guys next week with our recap of this awesome game.
Right, and hopefully we'll have Rick on next week and we can do a little recap with him too.
All right. I'm Marcus. This Orion.
And together we are Northwest Sports Fanatics.